Janice, are you there?
At your service, sir.
Enter the manosphere.
Of course. How can I assist you today?
Give me some of that dating foolishness.
Will do, sir.
In this video, we will be discussing how to flirt with a girl using physical touch. Physical touch is an important part of flirting and can help you build a deeper connection with someone you are interested in. However, it is important to use physical touch in a respectful and appropriate way.
Hey baby, this ain't cooking class, right? Hey, what the fuck you? What's wrong with you?
Don't touch me.
I didn't touch you.
Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily. Today, we're diving into something essential for dating and igniting attraction: touching. But let me warn you, it's a double-edged sword. Get it right, and you're golden. Get it wrong, and well, let's just say you might find yourself with a one-way ticket to Creepville, or worse.
To build sexual chemistry with a girl, you need to touch her. You do. If you don't, she will only see you as a friend and nothing more because you're like scared to touch her. Touch is the most essential ingredient for building chemistry and trust.
And I know that touch can be really confusing, especially in today's modern age where people get labeled as a creeper or canceled in our cancel culture.
But unfortunately, most guys struggle to get physical with a girl because they're too afraid of looking creepy. And I completely get that. If you get this wrong, you can easily get rejected, slapped, and labeled as a creep or even a pervert.
So how do you touch a woman to make her want you without freaking her out? Let's go into it.
Touch is powerful, no doubt. But here's the kicker. Being labeled a creep can land you in jail. You'll notice these coaches throw around a lot of advice that sounds great in theory, but in practice, it's confusing as hell because everything is subjective. It all depends on feel. And we know women operate on a different frequency when it comes to attraction.
Your touches should be light, but firm at the same time. I know it's confusing, but you want to find a balance in between the two extremes.
You know, I get a lot of men who ask me, well, like, how do I flirt with a woman? And there's two pieces to this. The first is she needs to feel safe enough to be in her feminine. Because when a woman is in her feminine, she actually leads that flirtation and playfulness. Because she's open. So she brings it out, and that's when you feel invited into it, right? So if you try to force that, or if you're trying to like create flirtation, she's like this, right? Like, what's your motive? What's going on? What do you want from me?
This is female nature, guys. Most women will shut down any flirtation attempts from 80-90% of men, but they'll make exceptions for Chad and Tyrone. Because attraction is not a choice, it's instinctual. This is why chasing women never works. The foolishness. You've got to stop chasing and start attracting. Trust me, it will make your life a whole lot easier. In this highlight reel, female dating coaches break down the touching aspect of flirting. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide if the juice is worth the squeeze. So without further ado, let's get this highlight reel started.
So, rule of thumb for touching: touch early, touch often, touch appropriately.
Your best bet is to make physical contact right off the bat, within the first minute or two, if possible.
The sooner and more often you break the touch barrier, the sooner she'll be comfortable with you touching her. But remember, her primary need is to feel safe, so you want to touch her appropriately.
When you first start flirting with a girl, it's important to start with casual and appropriate touch. This can include touching her arm or shoulder when you are talking to her, or offering a gentle hug when you say hello or goodbye.
Now, this might look like light touches on her arm, her shoulder, or her back during a conversation, or things like lightly nudging her arm or shoulder to show comfort and familiarity.
An easy way to touch a woman for the first time is to give her a high five. That way you're breaking the touch barrier so it's not as creepy when you go to brush the hair off of her shoulder or touch her while you're talking.
Try to touch her gently. A little tap on the arm when you ask her a question is perfect. For example, hey, do you want the same drink again? It's subtle, but it's really good. You could ask to see her jewelry that she's wearing and gently roll her wrist around to admire her watch or her bracelet.
Whether that's a introductory handshake, a hand on the shoulder, an excited high five, touching is really important. This shows a woman that you're confident and expressive as a man. The longer you wait to make contact, the more awkward you'll both feel about it not happening.
This can help establish a level of comfort and familiarity before escalating to more intimate touch.
Touch her, but don't go in and grab her hand or tuck a piece of hair behind her ear or grab her hips like it looks like in the movies. It may have worked for an old James Bond movie, but nowadays it's creepy and weird.
You start to touch her too soon. I've come across men like this and also coach men that think this is the way you start with escalation, which is absolutely is not. Escalation does not start with touching a woman instantly. It will rub the woman the wrong way and she will just get this icky feeling. And if you want to attract a woman, icky does not go with attraction.
Hint, same as with compliments. Avoid T and A and L.
Where you should probably not touch a woman on a first date, that would be the leg. You don't want to be touching below the belt on a first date. Save that for a second or third date after you've built a little sexual tension.
Face, neck, the vulnerable areas, the whole torso area. Too low on the back. And of course, her legs or bitte.
Understand when you are flirting, you don't have to touch her. This does not increase your chances, whatever you've heard out there. You have to first recognize that you know about personal space. Once the date continues, depending on conversations and personalizations and laughs and great conversations, then flirting can be intertwined with these events and touching will come into play where things on the date may get more physical, but this does not happen right away.
It's important to pay attention to a girl's body language when you are flirting with her. If she seems uncomfortable or pulls away when you touch her, it's important to back off and respect her boundaries.
This skill, reading the room, understanding social cues, and knowing when to act, isn't just crucial in dating, it's a life skill. Some guys are naturals at it, while others need to work harder, and that's okay. The good news, it can be learned. Like any skill, practice makes perfect. But again, you've got to ask yourself, is it worth the risk? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Because in today's climate, the stakes are high. Back when I was in the trenches, I failed many times. But guess what? I lived to fight another day. Dating used to be fun. Shout out to the brothers who grew up without social media and dating apps. You know what I'm talking about. But now, social media and dating apps have completely flipped the script. Combine that with post-Me Too culture, believe all women, and the constant toxic masculinity narrative being shoved down our throats. And we've got ourselves a recipe for disaster.
On the other hand, if she seems receptive and engaged, you can gradually increase the level of physical touch.
Typically, a woman will touch the man's touch him first by his arm or his leg or his thigh, whatever the case may be. Then this is when you can start slowly touching, reciprocating her back, engaging her body language through conversations and her behaviors. So you want to wait for the indication that it's okay to do so.
Man, that's where we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.